the interior other. As he looked into the looking glass, he understood he could not get past the image in his mind of what he knew of himself, because the mirror was merely one more distortion of what he was before his substance. He knew to himself he was taller and leaner than what was there. To him, his eyes were truer in color, his nose less arched, and his lips more even than what was there. He knew to himself there was a distinctive look about his chin, a specific yet indefinable prowess about his forehead, and the mark of meaning, the mole on his left cheek. But he believed the mirror could not possibly hold such a view of him. With the world brimming with billions of people, he told himself that he was like no one else. But he understood that his was the heart, true to all men. As it is written, the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living being. In his eyes, he was the vision behind the appearance, the soul beneath the skin, the bone of mountains holding truth to the light, and the muscle in the heart of the land. All such things beyond the knowledge of mirrors. Not being the common man or the ordinary man, but also not being the special man either. He stood above himself into a dawn of years, far past his time-wrought age. As the sun glistened on his shoulder, as the wind tossed his locks, yet he could never be as the observer willed, but only as he was, with the color of his mind, mapping the metaphysical. He walked along with the moon in silence, seeing his shadow follow along faithfully, while the night was painted with stars and dazzled, while his heart dissolved in the thick of his breath. And he knew tomorrow could bring no greater truth than what was already there. There was a confidence in his eyes, without a trace of arrogance, a certain depth to the line of his jaw, without a touch of the intimidating, a graceful gentleness to his smile, the tinge of sarcasm. And all whom he met found this in him, and more, as his measure was truly greater than what they dreamed. Yet, he knew that everywhere it always was already there, while tomorrow would slip through the fingers, and yesterday only could remain their constant grief. He became himself through the steel of the everlasting and the brass of forever, with his soul as the metal of the moment. Thus, he was of a multitude of geometries into the beyond. He was the doctrine of the landscape, the physics of what it meant to be, and he was a soul in the world, but not a soul of the world. His image was the vision beyond the soul. As it is written, was formed in my mother's womb, you knew me. However, what made him larger than life, and more than any looking glass could tell, was the vastness of his own suffering, the encompassing space of his own pain, as well as the blood of his self-sacrifice. It was not only that he suffered, but the way he endured his suffering. It was not only that he had pain, but the way he triumphed over it. Each day he awoke with devotion to the work of the Father, and each night he slept with thanksgiving. In his air there was a calm. To know him as he truly is to receive a transfusion of an inner universe, seeing who we truly are, reaching for what we could be, venturing through the door behind the mind of forever. To see him is not to find distance, but to feel closeness. To not feel the cold matter of an object, but to fathom the pulse of peace. To not face alienation, but to share in the indwelling of the Spirit. As it is written, he had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering.